Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today you'll be trying to become the most famous hero in the land by defeating monsters that are teleporting in through space portals, and they're going to be attacking the king's town. The king commands you to take these monsters down before they ravage his castle and steal the gold. Ultimate Rush is a combination of speed and strategy for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and takes 20 minutes to play. It's published by Purple Wizard. It's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works, and then I'll see you on the other side. In Ultimate Rush, you're trying to have the most fame at the end of the game. Now, mostly this is done by defeating monsters, which will give you a certain amount of fame, by purchasing cards at the market, which will give you fame, and by putting together sets of unique different treasures, which will get you a certain amount of points depending on how many unique ones you have. You'll also get some fame by staying alive, but be careful. When you die, you'll get 0 points or possibly lose points, or if you die 3 times, you'll actually be eliminated from the game. Now each player gets a player board where they'll track their health. This will start at a different spot depending on how many players you're playing. Here we're playing with 4 players. And it'll place to track your energy, which you can use to turn into different types of actions. We'll go over those later. The game is played over 4 rounds. Each round has 2 main parts of the game, one simultaneous and one that's played in turn order. Each player is given 4 of these power cards. They're all the same starting power cards, and each player gets to kind of look at them and see what's on them. Essentially, they're going to create either attack values or they're going to create some coins for you. So the players get to look and see what's on there. Then they'll shuffle them up and you'll get ready to basically put them together in real time. So after they've studied them and see what's on there, they'll have their shuffled deck of those cards right there and they won't look at it again until they start. Now before players start, everyone gets to look at the monster cards and the market cards available for this round. There'll be enough cards, 1 for each player, along with some turn order tokens. And the players sort of look what's here and they try to strategize as to what they're going to go for in a round. Because from the market, they're going to be spending coins to buy cards. And in the monsters, each round you'll have to fight a monster and you'll need a certain amount of attack value there. We'll go over that later. So once everyone's ready, 3, 2, 1, go. This part's real time. You would actually be doing this very fast, but I'm going to do it sort of in real time, but a little bit slower just to show you how this works. So you can put this in any orientation. It doesn't have to be in a 4x4 square, although you will get most of your connections that way. So here, if I'm happy with this, I have 1, 2, 3 attack and 1 coin because that's what's together. Let's say I was done. When you're first done, you can take any one of these turn order tokens. This is going to go first, second, third, and fourth this round, and sort of the second half of the round. Now, usually you'll probably want to go first, but you might not want to because you might need a different benefit. Like this one's going to give you some health, a coin, an attack, and some energy. So maybe you want a different benefit, and there's another reason why you might not want to go first that we'll talk about later. But let's say we just take this one, and then all the other players, once they're done, will take these. Now, once you're finished and you've taken one of these, you cannot touch any of your power cards. Once everyone's taken one of those tokens, the real-time section's over, and then starting with the first player and then going in that turn order, players are going to walk through some steps. First, they're going to get their bonus. This is a heart, so they'll get some life. Then you're going to head over to the market. Remember, we have 1 coin to spend. Now, you can only buy up to 1 card, but you're not forced to buy anything. Some of them are free, and that still counts as your buy for the round. Like you could get this one for free. You'd immediately get 2 life, and it's not going to be worth any fame at the end of the game. However, if you had 5 coins, you could get this party, and it's going to be worth 5 fame, and it's going to give you a treasure, which at the beginning we told you, getting unique treasures will score you points at the end. This one costs 1, and this is going to end up replacing one of your starter cards. It's basically a powered up version where now you can easily get more attack because it's going to help you get 2 instead of just 1, and it's going to give you some fame at the end of the game as well. Or maybe you go for this, which is 4 coins, it gets you a fame, and it will either give you 3 energy or it can give you a shield, which basically defends you from being attacked for the rest of this entire round. So you can buy any 1 card. In this case, let's say we get this. When it's one of these upgraded power cards, just put it off to the side near your tableau for now. Next, you must fight a monster, and only 1 monster. Regardless of if you can defeat any of them or not, you're forced to fight one. Now remember, I had 3 attack, so the only 2 that I could defeat are this one and this one. Now, they have an attack value that you need to meet, but it also shows you how much damage you're going to take. And you take damage whether you defeat the monster or not, Anytime you fight a monster, you're going to take that damage, but you're going to get some rewards like fame and treasure sometimes, or other things like that. Now, you only receive those rewards if you're able to defeat the monster, but let's say we'll do this one. We have at least 3 attack, so we will defeat this one. And you'll put it face up sort of next to your player board there. Again, this is going to give you fame at the end, and it gives us one of those treasures, but we got to take the 1 damage. Now, if you ever get to 0, you'll die. And what happens is you immediately come back to life at the life that you started the game with, but one of these will get flipped over to let you know that you've died once. If you ever die twice, you'll flip this one over to tell you you've died twice. And if you die a 3rd time, you're out of the game. But remember, dying will lose you 3 points and then lose you 5 more at the end of the game. Now, if I couldn't have defeated any of these, meaning I had less than 2 attack, then I would have chosen a monster to fight anyway and taken the damage. Like I would have chosen to fight this one and only take 1 damage because that's the least, but all the monsters would stay there for the players later in turn order. And then you'd simply put your turn order token back to show that it's the end of your turn, and players would continue doing this in that player turn order. Now at the end of the round, you'll simply move the round counter down. There's only 4 rounds in the game. Now before the simultaneous part of the next round starts, each player will discard down to 4 power cards. Remember, you have the 4 starting ones. You'll be getting rid of one of those if you bought one, and now you're going to have better attack values or coins or things like that. But once you study the icons that are on here again, just like normal, you'll get ready to put it down, and then you'll look at the market and the monsters like normal. Earlier I mentioned that even if you're the first one done, you might not want to take the first player turn order. Why is this? Well, because some of the monsters that have this black frame are boss monsters, and they have to be fought before anybody else. So the player that takes the first turn marker is going to have to fight this. And if you don't have 4 attack and you're the first one done, well, you might want to take one that's later in turn order so that maybe you can fight and defeat one of the other monsters once somebody possibly defeats the boss monster. Now, speaking of fighting monsters, I want to show you on your player board. It actually walks you through the steps of a turn. You have putting your power cards together, you have grabbing your turn order token, you have going to the market, and then before we've been doing fighting the monster. But there's a different choice you can make. Instead of fighting a monster here, you can do a portal jump. Now, you can only do this if there's no boss monster face up. Now, you must have at least 1 attack. This is the face down stack of the monsters. So 1 attack will allow you to do this, but you're going to take double the damage. So you'll flip this over. Again, you need to have 1 attack to do it, and you automatically defeat it, but you need to take double the damage first. So this is 3, so you'd have to take 6 damage, and then you'd be able to take this card and put it next to your player board there, and you'll have that 3 fame at the end of the game. Man, so 6 would take us all the way down to 4 life. Now, speaking of the portal jumps, you can't heal then. And how do you do things like healing? Let's talk about this energy. So at any time during your turn, you can spend energy to convert it. So you can spend 1 to give you a coin. You do that when you're trying to buy something in the market. Or for an attack, if you're trying to attack a monster, you need 1 more attack. Or to heal, you can give yourself a life. Or you can spend 2 of them to heal 3 life. Or you can spend 3 to essentially do an explosion, which does 3 damage to all other players. Speaking of portal jumps, you can actually buy a portal jump from the market. Now, when you buy this card, you immediately do a portal jump, and boss monsters don't stop this, and you don't need to use an attack, but you still get double damage. But since this is part of the market action, you then still would need to fight 1 monster after that. And it's the only way to fight more than 1 monster on a turn. And at the end of the 4th round, you're going to simply count up all your points. And at the end of the 4th round, you're going to count up all your fame from all your cards from the market, all your cards from the monsters. You're going to look at how much fame you get from the different treasures. Here, I just have 2 treasures, which is 2. The chest is not a treasure for any of this. It's not listed here because when you get a card like this, you actually have to take the top card of the market and gain its benefits right away. So they give you a benefit during the game. Then we'll subtract any possible points, maybe if you've died. Like in this case, we died twice, we would subtract 5 points. Whoever has the most fame is gonna have the legendary party. Well, there you have Ultimate Rush, and as I've showed in the overview, it has a blend of simultaneous real-time play along with standard player turns that has simple rules but tough choices for gamers, families, teens, and kids. Now, if you'd like to see the final art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video, and it will take you directly to the Kickstarter project page, and I'm sure the fine folks at Purple Wizard would love your support.